I have audited hundreds of Klaviyo accounts for 7 8-figure e-commerce brands, and I've always been able to spot some opportunities that could help those brands make more revenue pretty much instantly. Today, I'm going to show you how I would change the welcome email for one of the fitness brands and how I would do the email marketing if I were to handle it. So let's get right into the video. The brand we're going to be covering is called Dumbers Direct, and this is pretty much the setup that I have. So this is their pop-up, which is going to be the first starting point. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I think looks okay. I would maybe make the offer a little bit smaller, but that's being picky. One thing I'll make for sure is remove the first name because you don't really need this, like especially if you're not personalizing it in your emails, which you're not. So I would get rid of that. It's going to increase your conversion rate drastically. And then I would test using micro yes concept, which is, hey, would you like to get 5% off, or asking for the email right away. Other than that, I think it's fairly good. I personally prefer not having images or having them with some kind of review as well. But overall, the pop-up is not bad. It's looking fairly okay. One thing I would change is that I got the pop-up triggered very quickly. I would probably play with the trigger a little bit more so it doesn't trigger instantly, but it takes some time just to, people can see what's on the website and then they can get targeted and hit with the pop-up. But then what happens after the pop-up is super important because you have this beauty, this bad boy, which is double opt-in message. Now, this thing alone is gonna slow down your list growth by like 50% just because people are less likely to click on this, right? Is the only case where you would like to have it is if your bounce rate or spam rates are extremely high. I mean, like 10% or above. Then yeah, you need this because if you're like being, list bombed, then your deliverability will take a hit. But other than that, you should never use double opt-in, mainly because again that slows down your list growth. Instead, you should have a single opt-in. And yeah, I know that you might be concerned, like, yeah, what about people that don't open my emails or don't engage with them? Well, after some time, you're gonna clean the list and remove those people anyways. So you just need to have single opt-in. That's gonna make your list growth way faster. Now onto the welcome email itself. So this email is the email I received from the brand. You can see what it looks like right now. It's fairly simple. It talks about the discount, then shop now, and then, just showing the products and links and social media, all of this stuff. And this is the brand itself. So, the email isn't terrible. I think it could be done a little bit more in terms of being on brand, especially for a brand like this one, which is fitness, gym space, and so on. I feel like making something bold really makes sense. Just because, those people are also like to be bold. This image is a little bit flashy, for example, but if you look at the other ones, they're looking fairly okay. Like these ones, for example, are looking super nice, a little bit more brand, and I don't feel like this email fully transitions that. I don't feel like this branding is, transitioned onto the email. So instead, we have prepared something like this, which, we can tell for yourself if it's better or worse. The structure, more or less, is quite similar. But in general, we're being a little bit more direct with the copy. We're being a little bit more, less generic, if you will. So we don't start like, welcome to the club. Here's what you can expect, tips for top workouts and sneak peeks, fitness challenges, and so on. We're just like, hey, you don't just lift, you live for the grind. We're built the same way. We're trying to build this relationship between the customer and our brand. So they are like, okay, these guys have the same mindset. So I like this. And usually people buy from the brands they like. At the end, the overall designs, you can compare them side by side. Ours has a little bit more copy, but I believe it's fine. You don't want to make your welcome email too long usually. But again, this is like literally, two sentences that we have plus one review, which is also like great for building social proof and the customer using the product, which is always nice to see. And then we're showing bestsellers, claim 5% off, and we're linking them directly to the collection links plus having their USPs in the footer. This structure of the email is pretty much what we always do for all of the brands. It's not always the same in terms of the copy. We don't use any templates. This is just what we do in terms of the structure, because you can see that even though we have, a little bit bigger font, which is, by the way, also important if you want it to be readable, our like above default section is a little bit better optimized for the email itself because our button ends a little bit higher than the previous email. So that's really, really important. And then again, just like the whole branding, behind the email, this one is like very plain, which isn't terrible, but in my opinion, you're either doing plain text emails or doing design-based emails. I don't think, being somewhere in between is really great. Now again, just like a few things to cover. The font here is super small, especially if you're reading it on mobile, or even on desktop. It would be pretty hard to read because if you compare this font to that font, it's like way smaller. Even for our email body copy, this one is a little bit bigger, and you can generally see, what it looks like in terms of the branding and like how bold the email is. compared to the previous one. And yeah, I just think that it really comes down to, what the brand is about. And I feel like if you look at all of those images and then you look at those two images, those two emails, you can probably tell that this one might resonate a little bit more with the customers, especially if you go through all of this. I mean, when I go through the website, I'm getting the vibe of, the brand being quite bold in general, which I think is good. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'll just make the email a little bit more on brand in this case and make it like that. Nothing wrong with the, section of the best sellers. I just personally like to have it this way, where you have shop now button for all of these, so people know they can click it. And then I don't like showing too many of these, because that can get, quite confusing as well. Usually you want to show between 3 to 5 bestsellers, like actual bestsellers. And if someone wants to buy anything else, they can click on one of these categories, which are just categories from their website. We've taken them from the website and then implemented them here. Obviously, if you have some other best-selling categories, you make sure to include them here. But usually I like to include between 3 to 5 links over there, just to make sure that if someone wants to, they can easily go ahead and click, in any pretty much of those and then go to the specific category. And then last but not least, very, very important is the free icons in the footer for USPs. So free shipping, 30-day returns, which is also very important. And then for this brand specifically, this icon is super, super, super important in my opinion. They didn't have that before, which in my opinion, is, I won't say a mistake, but something they should think about. If you're selling high AOV items, high ticket items, like this brand does, like, they're selling items for between 100 to, like, let's say, even a 4K product, people will have questions, and that's like normal. Plus they have this, on their website as well. But you want to put this in the email too, so like if someone's really interested, they don't need to go to the website. They can just take a look at that and call you right away. Super important, again, especially for higher ticket items. But yeah, this is pretty much it. This is how I've redone their email. So in terms of changes, to quickly summarize it, get rid of the first name and the pop-up, then get rid of the double opt-in, then just the email itself. I believe you can see for yourself which one looks a little bit better, which one like visually pleasing, but also conversion wise, like obviously here the discount is visible, which is great. But again, I feel like making the emails a little bit more on brand just helps you stand out in the inbox, because trust me, there's hundreds of brands like this one where they send like technically design based emails but technically plain text ones, and it's like a mix, which in my opinion doesn't look too much on brand. But this email is a little bit more bold, shows the customer using the product, which is another important thing, just to include the lifestyle photos, as people using the product, because that just builds trust. Same goes for showing the review, and same for building some kind of connection. Like this email right here, it's not that bad even in terms of the structure, but in my opinion, the main 2 points for improvement are the copy and then the whole vibe and design of the brand, plus making the buttons bigger. You can see that, the button here stands out way more than the button here. But the copy on the left is, in my opinion, it blends, it's like quite basic, like any brand could write it. Like, hey, welcome to the brand club. Here's what you can expect, top discount and like challenges and whatnot. Here's your discount. But here we're trying to build some kind of connection between those two. Like, hey, you live for the grind, we're exactly the same. If you like riding, you're in the good place. 5% off to get you started. Here's the code, use it now. And then we talk just briefly about the brand, because again, remember that this is someone new. They're being introduced because it's the welcome email. So it was like, yeah, we deliver heavy duty, bottom tested fitness equipment straight to lifters who demand more from their training. So again, if someone is like the person we're describing, yeah, I mean, like, that's me. I don't like any gimmicks, shortcuts. I just want to have a workout at the top level from the top gear. Um, and yeah, this is pretty much me. They're gonna resonate more. They're gonna build this connection rather than, having like, hey, it's a discount, buy this, buy, pretty much, right? And then again, a very, very quick review. You don't want this review to be super short. I mean, super long. It actually has to be short. But yeah, the review itself, is pretty nice. I'll order again because they went above and beyond, and I appreciate that. And this is very important again when building your home gym, which usually requires you to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and knowing that you can count on someone is very, very important. And then after someone goes through that, it's like, okay, let's get your listing heavy, check out our best sellers, 3 to 5 products, claim 5% off, top links for the collections. And one another important thing is that, this brand didn't have dynamic link. What we would do here is have a dynamic link for the discount code. So even if someone clicks here, or they click here, here, or here, they will have the discount code automatically applied at the checkout, so they don't need to be, going back and forth, checking back the email, especially with a dynamic code like this one, like, yeah, what is it? I'm not gonna remember that. We're gonna click on the product, go back to the email, copy the code, enter the code. It's just so many extra steps rather than us having a dynamic link for the buttons, like pretty much any link that we have here. And then again, just the USP icons in the footer, always important, always nice to see some of that in the footer for any of the emails. So yeah, this is pretty much the revamp for the fitness brand. If you would like me to redo your welcome email or one of your campaigns, you can just click a link below this video. There's gonna be like a quick form. You can fill it out. We're gonna hop on a quick call, have a quick chat about your brand, what you want to see. And if not, there's also gonna be like no need for the call because you just fill out the information in the Google Forms. We take it from there. We're gonna take a look at your emails, revamp them, or if you want to, we can go even beyond that and do the full Klaviyo audit of your account. We're gonna do it live as well. So yeah, if you want me and my team to review your emails and your Klaviyo account, again, there's gonna be a link below this video. So make sure you click it and fill it out. It's very short, just asks about some basic stuff. But yeah, fill it out. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next video. Cheers.